Kitty, have you been in that box the whole time we've been gone? Can you see her? Hi, Kitty. We just got home. Okay. Last night, after dinner, I boxed up some cucumber salad and some green beans for the neighbor lady Lois. Dad called and said, would you like some? Because since her husband died, like I've said before, she doesn't really cook for herself anymore, so she lives on a lot of toast and cereal. So we sent her some goodies, and Dad went back, and then he ended up power washing her deck because she couldn't figure out how to get my dad's power washer to work. And then Dad had a hard time at first, and then they finally figured it out, and he's like, well, I'll just do it. So she would move the little furniture around, and Dad would power wash. He was probably back there for almost an hour power washing. And then we had planned on getting up today, meeting my cousin at the shop for a meeting, going over stuff. And then we didn't know. Kitty, quit it. Well, my cousin called me this morning. Our one driver called out, so he had to do a route. So we weren't going to meet, but I still had to go up there and drop off paychecks. So I said, okay, Dad, we'll go drop off paychecks, and then we'll go to Amish Acres to the big arts and crafts show. It's big. It's like in the top 100 arts and crafts show, I guess, in the country. Mom and Dad used to go to it. I've never gone. So we go outside. I give Dad the van key. I'm getting ready to back my scooter out and around to load onto the van. Dad's like, it won't unlock. So I give him the other key. Van's dead. So, Kitty, since it's just these little boxes, I'm like, what do we do? I said, we can't get in the van. We don't know how to get in the van. Won't unlock. So we call Mike, the guy we bought it from. He's like, I'll be right there. Kitty, quit it. Do you want me to kill you? Come here. I don't have any treats to give you right now. Sorry. So he comes. After he got off the phone with my dad, he asked his son, who's a mechanic at his shop, and he says, I think their keys are like these one keys. So he comes, he grabs my little box that I put it in my key thing, but I usually keep it in my pocket here. So as long as it's on me and I get in the van, I put my foot on the brake, I push a button to start it, it starts. It's just got the unlock and lock buttons on the little box. So he pushes a button in the back, slides it, pulls out a key. I'm like, that would have been a nice thing for you to tell us that we had. He goes, I wasn't sure these had it until I got here and I saw that it did. Because I noticed that there is a place for a key on the driver's door only. And it's in case something like that happens. You have to have a way to get in your vehicle. So he got in. We have no idea. We couldn't find anything that was left on. We don't know why it went dead. Mike brought a jumper box and jumped it, and we let it run. And he goes, let it run for a while. I got to see if Dad plugged in his jump box because his was not fully charged. So we took Dad's jump box with us. And originally, like I said, we're going to Amish Acres, but that's like an hour away. And Dad didn't feel comfortable going that far away when we had this problems with the van. So we went up, dropped the paychecks off, and we went to a local fair. Went to the Cass County Fair, which is the county next to us. I went there once when I was really, really young, but that's the only time I've ever been to that one. My shirt's all funky. Our local fair, like the one closest here, is the Berrien County Youth Fair, which is the one I showed rabbits at and did vegetables and needlepoint and flower arrangements, and I entered all kinds of stuff in the fair. When the book came out, I would look through what can I do for the fair, what can I enter? And a lot of kids would enter one thing so they get a free pass. I was like, how much stuff can I enter? I found it fun. And so I haven't been to that fair since, let's see, Christy's little girl was not walking really well yet, so we used the stroller, so she was maybe 1.5, 2. That little girl now is 23. So that's how long it's been since I've been to a fair, period. So it was fun. I went and looked at some of the animals. Dad kind of set up in the shade because that's not his thing, going to see the animals. So went through like the sheep barn and the goat barn, and couldn't go in the rabbit barn because they were showing at that moment. So they had the entrance blocked off, and saw some pigs and some horses and chickens. They were never my favorite. They always scared me. Chickens scared me. Then we went, looked at a few goodies, looked around. We went down around by where the tractors were and came up by the rides for the little kids. And by the time we got up to the top of the hill, Dad's like, I think we need a snack. I'm getting hungry. I'm like, okay. So I went to this one booth and bought a large basket of like cauliflower, zucchini, mushrooms, deep fried thing of. So I handed those to Dad and I said, here, go sit over there underneath that place. They had like a big covered place with picnic tables. And I'll run down here and get something else. I knew right where I wanted to go because I drove by it earlier and it looked really good. It was a place that sold like sirloin tips. And you could get, I got mushrooms on them. You can get mushrooms and onions or just onions, or I just wanted mushrooms. So I got a large one of those, so then we shared those as our dinner. They were really good. And this just so happens when he sat at the table, across from us at the table was somebody who had seen my dad earlier at the fair. And said that he thought it was his brother because he didn't know, he hadn't seen my Uncle Joe and Aunt Linda in years. So he didn't know Uncle Joe had passed away. And they started talking and he goes, I thought you looked familiar. You look a lot like Joe. And Dad's like, yeah, my brother passed away. And I had just had a brand new picture of my Aunt Linda on there. So I showed him what Aunt Linda looked like now. And, you know, he knew a lot of the same people we knew. And so we just sat and talked to them for a while. Really nice couple. He's just a year younger than Dad. So we chit-chatted with them. And then Dad was using my cane because he said it really helped. But we got to this one bench and it was, Dad sat at the one end and there was a guy at the other end and in the middle. And all three of them were these old men and all had matching canes. I'm like, hey, you guys are like triplets. And then the one guy at the one end asked my dad, you know, what years did you serve in the Navy? Because he always has one of his hats on. And then they ended up serving, both of them, like Dad was 62 to 66, and the guy at the other end was 63 to 67. So they kind of had Navy talk. And we met some really nice people and chatted there. It was a nice day. Dad's like, it was a nice day. Nice breeze. It was like 79. I got a little sun. I should have put sunscreen on. Because you forget the sun's still beating on you even though you don't feel hot. And then as we're leaving, I said, I want to get an elephant ear to take home. And usually one person always asks me what an elephant ear is, and I'm shocked that not everybody knows what an elephant ear is. Like Jason was one of those people last year. What's an elephant ear? For crying out loud. It's a staple fair food. It's like a relative to the funnel cake. So I said, I want to get one to take home. Dad's like, well, I'll buy one for you. So I pull up to the little elephant ear stand that I was by. And I order one. And she's making it. I look over and Dad's gone. I'm like, where'd he go? So I pay for it. I pull away. He had gone to the elephant ear stand across the way, not noticing that I already stopped at one. So we each bought elephant ears for ourselves. But I got mine in a to-go bag. Look at the little elephant. Let's call him Elmer, shall we? Hi, Elmer. But I always get mine with cinnamon sugar. I don't like toppings on them. And it just looks like a big, looks like an elephant's ear. See, there's my ear. That's an elephant ear. It's just, instead of funneling the dough in through a funnel and making all the squiggles, you just make a dough and deep fry it. And then sprinkle cinnamon sugar on it. Put it back in the bag. I don't want it right yet. Seal Elmer up. So yeah. It was a really nice day today. And we come home and Heidi was ready to get out of the house. You know how that goes. Gosh, I'm almost talking 10 minutes. Oh well. I'm going on. So she goes out back and then I take my scooter kind of down the road a little bit. I do a UE and I grab the mail and I come in. And I'm like, Heidi, do you want to go for a ride with me? No. I go around the house and go in the backyard. And Dad's like, well, while you're back there, go pick up he's got a bird bath and it tipped off. So I went and picked up the part that fell off and went out and around. And he had me check where the moles are working. He goes, are the moles still working out there? I'm like, oh yeah. Dad hates the moles. And so I cruised up along the back patio and I said, hand Heidi to me, keep her on her leash. So He put her on her leash. I sat her in the little basket in front of me, and I made sure I had my finger through her little collar. And we went around the house. I didn't think she'd like it because it was bumpy. We went around the house and up the driveway and down the road and did a U-E. She's just watching everything. Went back and turned around, came down the driveway, and we went in the garage where Dad was sitting. She's just sitting there like, hey, I'm cruising. So, now we just got some corn on the cob in a bag for our neighbor because we bought a dozen. So I put 3 in a bag for him and a container of creamy cucumbers. Because we were given the cucumbers anyway, so we just make a big bowl and we share. Kitty, what's your obsession with that? Oh, question 11 minutes in, if you make it this far. iPhone people, what is a good app for my iPhone where I can string clips together from my iPhone, so it isn't just like one take, that I can directly upload to YouTube, one video with several clips in it? Is that a thing? Is it? Huh? Okay.